good. Your mute went on.
Yeah, I'll mute until you're ready to go. So you'll introduce me, then I'll
Okay, this is Cyrus. Cyrus is a friend of mine on Facebook that travels the world pretty regularly. He has like the nomad lifestyle. I'm assuming you work from like remotely. Just
Yeah,
been
that's correct.
just been living the life that most people dream about living. I don't know the details. If you could fill us in a little bit more.
Okay, sure. So, hey everybody, so I'm Cyrus. Where to begin? I guess I've been living remotely well, I've had a few different periods of my life where I was doing it, dating all the way back to like 2012. But eventually later on, I made it more of a full-time thing. So I left Los Angeles back around gosh, what's it been now? I guess back around the beginning of 2018, and I came back to the USA briefly, but I've mostly been living abroad. I also decided to put like my knowledge of living remotely and kind of having a freedom-based lifestyle, as I call it, on my blog and my books. And I've actually been writing books since about 2014, and so I have a lot of books floating around the internet, including this one called How to Quit Your Job. I also went for a little while using my middle name Thompson in kind of in the manosphere and dating area. So I had a book kind of for I think just real just beginners, basically people just trying to figure out why their dating life wasn't working. That was called Love and Dating for Shy People. And that actually did pretty well. That helped fund more of my nomad stuff back in like 2015, I guess. And so yeah, I spent most of 2015 traveling, also traveling and writing and doing that kind of stuff. And mostly I work on my businesses and focus on a lot of philosophical stuff, trying to keep it, like I said, a freedom-based lifestyle. So you have the ability to do what you want, not necessarily make huge amounts of cash. Not really like a get rich guru or anything like that, but just being able to have what it takes to not have a lot of stress and a lot of problems in life to be able to pursue the things that you love to do. So that's kind of my philosophy, and I suppose what a lot of my books, my writing is about. And I write in a lot of different areas, including metaphysics. If you Google my name, there's lots of stuff in that kind of crazy category. But a lot of the older stuff is all about like lifestyle design, traveling, backpacking, doing it successfully, minimalism, getting rid of junk, stuff like that. So I guess that's kind of the gist of me.
That's cool. I was just. Do you have any interesting stories about? Right now, you're currently in Philippines, right? I guess you can't really do much with the COVID. I remember
Yeah,
you were saying online that you caught COVID a while back.
yeah. I mean, I've had all the symptoms. I just say, if it barks like a dog or quacks like a duck or whatever, it probably is a duck. Some people are trying to convince me, oh, it must not be COVID, but I mean, honestly, there's so many people have it at this point, and we're looking at like 20, 30% of the population is getting sick. So I don't see any reason why I didn't have it. But yeah, I'm still having mild symptoms, like going on 7, 8 weeks later. So I did get hit a little bit hard, but still nothing too serious. Just stayed inside a lot, and dealing with a lot of weird symptoms. Coming and going. You never know what it's going to do next. It's like a really weird, like unpredictable virus. Like I said, still wasn't that bad, but just like really weird, really annoying. So that kept me inside for a long time, but I'm pretty much over that, and just dealing with the lockdown in the Philippines. So I've been in the Philippines now. Well, I was going to be like a little 2 week excursion, and it became basically permanent. Like the government doesn't seem to have any interest opening flights back up, maybe ever. So I'm pretty much stuck here
Wow.
indefinitely. Honestly, I desperately want to get out because among like Southeast Asia locations, Philippines, I'm sorry to say it's not my ideal location. I didn't want to stay more than a couple weeks here, and look what happened. So now my adventures have kind of come to a close, and I'm stuck here.
Are you allowed to go out at least and buy food or whatever?
We haven't, yeah, up until recently, it's been very limited, like what days you can go out. They just lessened the restrictions so that there's actually like a mall. The malls have reopened. They're just kind of sad because half the businesses are closed. But I mean, you can still go. Like there's electronic shops and things open, and different stores, but they have limited capacity of like 3 or 4 people, so you can wait in a queue just to go into and shop. So I mean, it really bites, but we have more freedom now than we did last month for sure.
That's crazy. So I see your name's Cyrus. Does that mean you're part Greek?
uh, well, actually, I'm pretty sure it was the other way around. You see, so Cyrus is a Persian name. They're fighting the Greeks. So Cyrus was, I don't remember the relation to Xerxes, but if you saw the 300, basically, that the Greeks were fighting the Persians. And Cyrus was the guy who made the Persian Empire, right? So it's kind of a common name in some parts of the USA, especially like the South. But actually African Americans usually have the name, but somehow I ended up with it. So there you go.
So you're not Persian at all?
No. And actually, in Farsi they pronounce it differently, like Sharush. And I had a buddy named Sharush in college, and it was spelled the same as my name, but it's called Sharush.
That's cool. Do you have any? I don't know. Where have you been so far? I'm sure you've been a lot of places. You probably can't keep track of all of them. But like, out of all of them, what did you like more when it came to like women and?
Oh, okay. So for like dating and things of that nature, I don't know, man. It depends a little bit on your goals, what you're looking for. I mean, frankly, if somebody wants a wife, then they should go to Ukraine or someplace like that. Because honestly, the problem with Ukraine is that it's kind of a corrupt country. So I don't know if I see myself like retiring there because of that. Even though I really love Kiev, but basically, yeah. I mean, there's really like wholesome women who are really beautiful. So for guys who want to maybe relocate abroad and have like a long-term relationship, I would definitely recommend Ukraine. On the flip side of that, like of course, if you're like a guy from the States, American guy, yeah, I mean it's much easier as everybody knows, it's much easier basically in Asia. Maybe the exception being like the very developed Asian tiger countries like Korea or Japan. But just about everywhere else, you get a kind of laid back attitude. Like all over Southeast Asia, it's pretty laid back, and women are not difficult to meet. Whether you're looking for short term, long term relationships, whatever it might be. I mean, it's been that way for a long time. That's why you see a lot of foreigners in Southeast Asia for that purpose. I always tell people, don't just be another one of those, I don't know what the right term might be, but just like kind of unwashed foreigner who has no game coming out to Southeast Asia trying to score a chick. Yeah. I think that's really unclassy. I mean, you need to at least work on yourself and especially have solid game too, so that you don't end up in a bad situation with the wrong type of girl in your life, and don't get exploited. A lot of guys end up getting exploited for all their money, then they become all butthurt about it. It's much better to have a plan in mind. Decide kind of what you want. If you're gonna be out dating, don't be like another one of these like weird expats who doesn't really bathe, doesn't take care of themselves, and trying to hook up. Or by coming to Asia, that really makes it bad for everybody. But yeah, so anyways, Asia is good. Of course, I haven't spent as much time in Latin America. Latin America is also a decent place, for dating if that's what somebody wants to travel for. I mean, I don't recommend that as the reason to travel. I think there should be other reasons to travel. But certainly, if a guy is frustrated in the USA, they want to take care of that area of their life. It definitely helps. Leaving the West. That's the way I see it. There's a lot of reasons to leave the West, but dating can definitely be one of them.
What's it like living in Ukraine? I have actually been interested in going there. Is it how much do you think the cost of living is?
Well, it's low as Southeast Asia, basically. If you want to, actually, I would say lower. I think it's more expensive, frankly, here in the Philippines in some places.
Mm.
So I mean, just like here, you can get by, very, without spending much money. But there's also this weird like contrast. So parts of Kiev is more expensive than Los Angeles. So I mean, it's you'll see Airbnbs that are running you like $200 a night, UTF, like crazy prices like that. But then when you just go outside of that main city center, the prices drop. Thing is though is that honestly, in Ukraine, like Kiev is really beautiful and really safe, but there's places just like when you start getting outside of Kiev, like the culture is so freaking like particular to Ukrainians. Like it doesn't feel inclusive, and it's a little bit sketchy sometimes. Like I don't think I would want to leave the city center of Kiev or Odessa or Lviv. Like those are really cool cities. Like I don't think I'd want to get out of the city center.
Are they
Um,
xenophobic?
like the cops are usually corrupt. It's a lot of shit goes down outside of the city centers and stuff. Yeah,
Did you get like a xenophobic vibe?
yeah, I definitely get a xenophobic vibe. It's not. I don't know, because the Ukrainians, on the one hand, they really like Americans, but on the other hand, like their culture, it's kind of like their culture is all they know, and so they just, for one thing, there's a language barrier, and also they're not used to foreigners as much. And I think that sometimes they see foreigners as maybe being people that can be exploited.
Mm.
I think, I mean, just by comparison, I would say anyone here in the Philippines or anywhere in Southeast Asia is just way more adapted to seeing foreigners or being inclusive to other people than Ukraine. Like, it's definitely a challenge to fit in if you're in Ukraine, especially if you're by yourself.
What about Belarus? Have you been to Belarus?
No, I know about it. I know it's. I think it's more extreme than Ukraine. I mean, Belarus. They say it's the closest thing to the Soviet Union that still exists today. So that tells you anything.
It's crazy. I didn't know that. All right, so yeah, I was just also wondering how you support yourself remotely.
So there's different income revenue streams. So like in no particular order, I have book royalties from books I publish. I have customers and clients, and so I spun the publishing thing into a business for clients, basically with editing books, helping people publish books, helping people get covers made, book designs made, formatting, all that, and all that's from word of mouth. And I usually have a client or two in that area going. Next, I have subscribers, and so I have kind of like VIP things for like my books and my material, and people who want to do coaching with me, and they pay a little bit a month, also on like Patreon. So
Mm.
that brings money in. Next thing, I have other revenue streams. One is like investing, so I make some money sometimes, especially with micros, like penny stocks. So like I have to be careful with that because you can f up and lose a lot of money, but I handle it carefully. When there's an opportunity, I dump money in some stocks and sell, and that can sometimes bring in an extra a couple hundred to even a few $100 a month too. So I kind of combine everything together, and and it's been able to keep me going pretty well. Like I said, I'm not wealthy. I'm not I'm not living high on the hog, but I have more than enough to have nice places to rent in any country I want, and be able to have a gain at the end of the month a little bit. And that's what matters to me. That's the most important thing.
So what would you say your average stream is like a year just living remotely? I mean,
Maybe like probably only like 35,000.
it's still pretty good, like traveling around and stuff.
Yeah, especially because I don't really have like a 9 to 5 work schedule either. I mean, some days I'll have clients, I'll work all day, and then I won't do anything for a couple of days. Or I stay in touch with people, but I don't really it's not the 4 hour work week or anything like that. But I'm not like I'm not like sweating at it every day. I'm just kind of like I'm just kind of yeah, basically, I've got out of like the job grind in Los Angeles. So I'm just saying, I try to get as far away from that as possible. So, I try to keep it relaxed.
What do you market yourself on mostly? Facebook,
I
Google?
work, yeah, Facebook, YouTube.
You have a
Yeah,
YouTube channel?
yeah. There's a YouTube. There's a couple different channels. You know, one is for travel and these subjects, Cyrus the Explorer. And I have some others about other niche topics, which sometimes which is sometimes a little bit more involved actually than this topic. But yeah, YouTube helps. Facebook groups help. A lot of word of mouth, really. You know, so people recommend something I did, you know, to somebody else.
Yeah, word of mouth definitely. I've experienced the power of word of mouth. That's cool, man. So, I don't know, what else? Do you have anything else that you might want to, I don't know, any advice you'd want to give somebody who's just getting into, like, the remote life of traveling around or whatever?
Yeah, my advice for that is, you know, kind of figure out what you want because some people do it and they regret it because like they're traveling and they miss home, they feel lonely, or it's not really what they expected, right? And so I see that a lot, even on like the digital nomad forums. So like I regret doing this so much. I miss my pets, my family, and all this. So I mean, don't get suckered in just because it looks you know it's like it's a shiny object or it's popular or it's cool. Like you have to actually figure out if that's what you want. You know, for me, it was kind of a unique situation. I mean, I had a lot of friends back in the states, but I mean, like a lot of my family, unfortunately, have passed away in the last few years, and I didn't have so many connections anymore back, you know, to my home, and I really just wanted to explore other cultures really badly, and that's been my primary like driving force. You know, I just really want to I see places on the map, and it's like well, I want to experience that culture. And if you have that kind of like passion, then you can probably do this and be happy and not have regrets. You know, but you know, so you have to kind of figure it out, see if that's something that you actually feel passionate about or not. And you know, some people they have that, they want to do that, they want to have a mobile lifestyle. But other people, maybe they want to stay at home and just work on internet business, you know, from wherever they live, and kind of have a freedom-based lifestyle from their hometown. You know, that's fine too.
It's kind of like what I did for like a year, or actually a couple years. I was usually working for like most of the year, but then I would take a month off and I would travel. Like I went to Dubai, I went to Berlin, I went to England, and I also went to Japan. You were in Japan a while back, weren't you?
Yeah, I was in Japan last year.
Did you go to Osaka?
I was mostly in Osaka.
You didn't? Did you go like? Did you party in Osaka?
Yeah.
Okay, so did you ever make it to the Drunken Clam?
Wait a second. Is that like a nightclub or what is that?
It's like a bar, but it's like catered to like uh, expats. It's like they have
Oh, really?
karaoke.
I don't know because I went on like a pub crawl. So actually, I went on like two pub crawls, one for St. Patrick's Day. So it's very possible that I ended up in that bar. I don't know. I
Oh,
probably
you
don't
were in a
remember.
bunch of bars.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Did you go to any of the hubs? Probably, right?
Pubs?
Yeah,
Pubs or pubs?
the hubs, the HUBs.
In Osaka? Like what is a hub exactly?
You don't know what a hub is in Japan? They're like it's like a mock English bar, but it's not. I guess all the English people say, "Oh, this isn't an English pub," but it's like it's basically where all the expats go to meet Japanese women.
Oh, ha. So, you mean like hostess women, you know, that kind of deal?
There's a lot of Japanese girls that go there specifically to work on their English.
Oh, I see. So it's one of those kinds of situations.
But
Uh,
when I was in Tokyo, I actually hooked up with a couple girls from places like that, so they're not that bad, you know.
I just like my impression about Japan. Like I really love Japan, but I got the xenophobic kind of thing, and I also what annoyed me about Japan. And I say this as someone who really loves Japan, but I got annoyed by like the other expats there, and so
There's a
I
lot of
think I was
Aussies, right?
Yeah, I was basically avoiding anywhere that there were expats. So you're saying that these are like English style pubs full of expats? That means I would not want to go there because I found a lot of like weeaboos, guys who are like basically like anime obsessed guys who
Yeah,
end up
yeah.
living in Japan like because of that reason.
I
And
didn't hang out with any guys like that. Trust me.
I was avoiding them, but like one time I stayed in a hostel and I had a private room in this hostel, and I like almost every like white guy in that hostel was this weeaboo, like basically there because they're obsessed with anime. I can't believe that still exists in 2000, 2019.
Yeah, when I went, I was in I got a Airbnb, so it was a little bit more private. I never stayed in a hostel ever traveling, honestly.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, I mix it up. I go to hostels like half the time. Like before the world ended, I mean, that's where I used to go.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? Did you go to any clubs in Osaka?
Yeah, I did. Like I say, the same crawls I went to, I was in some clubs. They were good. I remember.
There, I actually have some friends that live there that are Japanese that work at some of the clubs there. It's too bad you weren't there when I was there, man. You probably would have had a lot more fun.
Probably so. I was kind of just winging it. Trying to get advice from locals and local people in hostels and seeing what was cool. But I did a lot of touristy stuff though. I did like the cherry blossoms, going to Kyoto and all that
Oh,
kind
you
of
went
stuff.
to Kyoto? Kyoto has the suicide forest. I've been there.
Oh, I didn't go to the suicide forest, so I sounds like yeah.
I
But
went during the day, I didn't want to. It's kind of it's a pretty place, but it's like, it's kind of dark.
yeah, that's a lot of crazy energy. I didn't even know it was in Kyoto. I just did the castles and that kind of stuff, and yeah, yeah, there Nara, which I really like. Just touristy stuff basically. I mean, that was my time in Japan, but I really enjoyed it. I really, really. I mean, I thought I would cut off my pinky to be back in Japan and out of this place.
So what's your prime? I don't know. I guess lead generator for meeting women when you're traveling. Do you use a lot of online game?
Well, it kind of depends on if I'm like in a relationship or not. So I mean, if I'm kind of going steady with a girl, which sometimes happens, then I'm not lead generating her at all. I'm staying with a girl. That's the case right now. But if I'm out and meeting girls, then really, I mean, yeah, the online dating stuff works in Southeast Asia. I wouldn't really say it works many other places, just in general. I mean, most guys I know back in the States, they always frustrated with Tinder and apps like that. But if you go to Asia, you do have success with that. But if I'm not in Asia and I'm just traveling, or I'm in Europe, or I'm in Ukraine, or places like that, then really it's about, basically it's about meeting people face to face. I don't usually do bars, nightclubs, that type of thing so much. I talked about this like in one of my book, like Love and Dating for Shy People. Basically, I was kind of dispelling the idea of going out to nightclubs and things like that as a way to meet women. Really, I was trying to emphasize how important it is to create a social circle and create people around you. Even if you're in a new place, you can do that. There's a lot of ways you can do it. You can find events going on in your area that kind of force people to meet each other. Usually I'll check meetup.com and see what's going on, but also one reason I go to hostels is that they're always connected with events. There's always lots of people who are looking to meet people. Also, one big advantage is if you do kind of like English teaching kind of stuff too, which I've done some of that too, and then you get lots of locals who want to meet you and hang out with classes. And
There's a lot of money in that, honestly. I was reading like niches that have done pretty well. Like, there's this one guy who, because I like to talk about business on this too. There's this one guy who is like from Colombia, and he has like two channels, and one has like 10,000 subscribers, the other has like over 200,000, and he doesn't have any products or anything. All he does is like one to one, and it's like something that I think a lot of people could capitalize on if you speak like a foreign language. And, like, there's a lot of
Um,
like white people.
English teaching. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, there's different ways to do that. I did like the CELTA training when I was in Ukraine, and so that's a really intense, kind of brutal 3 month class, and I survived it though. And that, I mean, it's good. That's one of the best like little certifications you can get. But it's just like any business, you know, it's how you market. And
Do
there's
you
usually
speak any other languages?
speak some Japanese, so
Nice.
takes learning Japan kind of fun.
Like conversation level?
Yeah, like that, like awkward conversation level. Yeah,
It's interesting that you speak it. Did you learn it all in school?
yeah. In university, that was my second language.
How many years did you study?
Too.
That's cool, man.
But that was way back when, so I don't have like complete fluent memory, but like when I was in Japan, I was able to, like I said, have some awkward conversations with people, and it was fun because, I was able to come back to it.
You can read kanji?
No, I mean I can read like the kanji that like a 3-year-old child in Japan might be able to read, like a bunch of the basic ones.
That's cool. Yeah, I speak Spanish and I'm like pretty fluent. And when I studied Japanese a little bit, it's like the syllables are similar, but the writing is like, I don't know. That would take a long time to learn just to be like conversational.
Yeah. I mean, I'm trying to learn pick up some Spanish, especially if the lockdowns ever end, I want to go to Latin America, and so I have to basically learn a bunch of Spanish first. But Japanese is not that difficult. I mean, it's difficult. The alphabets might be difficult, but it's kind of a straightforward language. Like it's easy to pronounce everything, and there's no BS or like silent pronunciations of words or like nonsense grammar. It's all like very like ordered and easy to learn.
Yeah,
So it's a fun language.
like konnichiwa.
Yeah. Konbanwa,
I don't know. I forgot a lot of it. Tadaima means I'm back, right?
Yeah, daima, yeah.
And Sigoine is like, all right.
Yeah. Sugoine. Yeah, oh yeah, Sugoine. It's like pretty cool, basically.
And Kampai. I'll never forget that.
So yeah, that's right.
Cool, man. So do you have any like interesting like stories that you might have about, I don't know, what your favorite experiences that you've had in whatever country that you can
Yeah, I
think of?
probably have a lot. I mean, last summer I was volunteer English teaching in India, like by the Dalai Lama's temple in the Dalai Lama's city, and I got to meet like they hired me for the magazine there, so I was writing for the magazine, and I got to interview like people in the Dalai Lama's like circle, like his translator. He was like just a really relaxed guy, and so as well as like some of the monks studying at his temple, and then I was also helping them learn English too. So like I was part of the community in that little city where the Dalai Lama is. And then I went to see the Dalai Lama speak a couple times. So like I felt pretty well connected to like the Dalai Lama, which was pretty cool. I like the Dalai Lama too, and so like I'm not a Buddhist, but I got pretty close to that world, which was nice. And so that was just last summer, and so that was pretty awesome. But I mean, there's a lot of stories. A big one for me really is I went to North Korea 2 times back in 2012 and again in 2013. And so we made like a little documentary called North Korea Uncloaked. I went with actually, it's kind of funny, with the whole like pickup artist kind of stuff. I went with the guy from The Art of Charm. Well, he has his own show now, the Jordan Harbinger show. So it was Jordan Harbinger. He has a big podcast now. And like a bunch of guys that he knew, as well as people, kind of more people in that circle. So it was kind of funny. It was an interesting group of people, and so we went there in like 2012 and tried to like party as much as we could, despite being like in a country that's controlled by a dictator. So
You were partying in North Korea? You guys are crazy,
yeah,
man.
so like we were like out in the woods, like drinking like weird like moonshine, like liquor, and like cooking oysters with gasoline, stuff like that. What else? We went to like an abandoned beach resort that's like built for like the leaders basically, and we're hanging out there and playing volleyball. And there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's so many stories just from those two trips. I think YouTube might have pulled my documentary down, but
Because it was in North Korea?
yeah, the documentary was up for like the last 7 years since I made it, but it might still be. I'm gonna find it, I think, and upload it into like BitChute. So if you Google North Korea unquote, you might still be able to find it. But yeah, that kind of documented a lot of what we did there. So a lot of stories from that, and also let's see, like since then, I've been to like 50 countries at this point. I usually have some experience everywhere I go. Last year I'd have to jog my memory a little bit, but like I said, everywhere I go, there's usually something that happens. At least it's memorable to me, if nobody else. The people you meet, what you're doing there, and just whatever way the wind blows, I guess.
Well, that's cool, man. Yeah, I get the vibe you don't really want to talk about relationships or women that much because you're in a relationship, so I don't want to like bust your chops over that. But how long have
No,
you...
I mean, it's so because I do basically, I've done a level of like dating coaching, and so I'm always down to to go over that kind of stuff too.
What would be do you have like a favorite or more than a favorite place that you've been for dating that you had like a good experience?
Yeah, let me think about that for a second.
You know who's messaging me right now? That
Who's messaging you?
Mark Zola.
Oh, Zola's messaging you. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to get him on here too, but he's kind of like, I don't know.
He's a little bit difficult to get a hold of. He has some life going on in Malta, I think. But
He's been messaging me back, but it's like random times,
Yeah, Zola was kind of an inspiration because he did all the really crazy travelogues. Really liked Zolo's stuff. Really fun, really interesting, really weird. Always always looking for like really interesting characters like in the digital nomad community, and Solo is definitely one of them. But anyway, back to the question. Well, I will say I was really surprised at how much I liked Spain and Barcelona, because I found the women there were really like surprisingly warm, like they want to meet you and talk to you and hang out. Even like the random chick who's like serving you, a hamburger at some fast food place, like anyone, like they're all just itching to party and hang out. Like they don't want to be working their job. And so like I was flirting with like government workers at like immigration, crying out loud. It's like everybody wanted to flirt, everybody wanted to have a good time. And so that was Spain. And so I think that other people traveling, you may want to think about Spain.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about Spain, actually.
And that was just in Barcelona, and there's so many tourists. I can imagine it's only even better if you go to like, I don't know, like the south or Malaga. So yeah, I really like that. Of course, you have spots in Asia, like a lot of people say good things about Indonesia. I can definitely say the same thing. I also ended up with a girlfriend when I was in Indonesia for like 4 or 5 months. But outside of that, there's a lot of I'd say pretty beautiful women there who are, in my opinion, a little bit more like, I don't want to sound disparaging for other places, including like Philippines, but it's kind of like there's a educational level, that's a little bit better in Indonesia. Like there's just a little bit more like it's still Southeast Asia, you get all the perks, but there's just same with Malaysia, like it's just a little bit more sophisticated. Like I'm amazed by just the level of like poverty here in the Philippines, and those places they have poverty too, but it's just like I feel like the government's just managed a little bit better. And so,
more infrastructure.
Like a single guy, I think it's a little bit, there's a higher quality of girls. in like, for example, Jakarta or I haven't been to Srivasa, I think it's called. It's kind of near Bali, but I hear that's a good place. Where else? Yeah, and then also Malaysia. I like Malaysia. Malaysia's good for any expat, but a single male expat. There's Malaysia. I think it's a pretty cool spot because it's easy to get visas that last like 3 months, and you can just do a visa run and come back basically. And it's cheap, but like the infrastructure is much better. And again, the women are really beautiful. But that's just my opinion because I also like Indian women. There's really beautiful Indian women there, and there's like
I like
Malay
Indian women too, man.
Chinese women, and so you kind of get that little like you get that kind of diversity. And the couple girls I've dated in Malaysia, they were like really kind of like sophisticated, nice jobs, not like, because if you try to date in Southeast Asia, you do get problems sometimes. So basically, like women kind of coming out of like a village, looking for like a white guy that they can, try to get under their wing and help improve their lot in life. And that doesn't. I mean, for some guys, that's great. You may want that, but it's just like, that's not always a good idea.
Yeah.
For a lot of reasons, and so if you want girls who are a little bit more like up to your own speaking, then I don't know, Malaysia might be a better pick than like for example.
What was India like?
Man, India's a chaotic, as everybody says. It's a crazy country.
How are the women? Is it hard to meet women?
Dating, there's basically, I was just amazed how there was almost like no possibility. I was just, people told me that coming in there, but no, I didn't, I was there hanging out Buddhist monk, basically being a Buddhist monk. I wasn't, I wasn't meeting anyone off of like Tinder or dating apps or anywhere basically. Like the local women, a lot of them, they get married off early, and if they're not married off early, I noticed that, like, I don't want to sound disparaging to Indian men or anything. There's a lot of great Indian men, but there's also, like, a lot of, like extremely obnoxious Indian men. And so what I came to find with, like, the local women in India is that they're so, like, jaded from dealing with obnoxious Indian men their whole lives that they just want to be left alone all the time. So,
Makes sense.
I don't know, probably stereotyping really bad, but India was just kind of a mess, I thought.
I feel like most of the Indian women I've met in general are just like very angry towards men, and
there you go.
It makes sense that you say that because I don't really know a lot of Indian men, but it would make sense why they're so angry at men if they had to deal with that their whole life.
I was angry at Indian men after I spent some time in India because they're just always pulling shit. Like I think in a hostel, like I come back and the dude like sleeping in my bed, even though he has his bed, like his bed is the other bed, and I can't go back. And, like, the guy was sleeping in my bed. I'm like, why are you sleeping in my bed? He's like, oh, sorry. He goes back to his bed.
What the fuck?
Stuff like that, just always. It was like that always, like every day in India.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Well, shit, that sucks, man, because I really like Indian women.
Well, yeah, me too. Maybe I'm just like disillusioned from like Bollywood. You see the beautiful Indian women, you're like, oh my god. But I mean, no, that's possible. I mean, I definitely know some people have had success with that. I just don't have any idea about how to crack that market. I think, probably Malaysia might be a better bet. Although I have honestly, I've never gone out with an Indian girl. I had a couple Indian female friends, but like I've never successfully dated an Indian girl, and most of my friends haven't either. So I don't know what's going on with them. And actually, I did see a lot of beautiful Indian women when I was in India. It wasn't like it didn't exist. Like, I was in freaking like.
But if you talk to them, they'd probably freak out, huh?
Yeah, if you talk to them, the attitude is kind of like, "Hi, thanks, bye." They don't want anything. And but I saw them. Like I actually. Freaking, what was it? Not Jodhpur. It was like the city, and it was Jodhpur, but then there's another bigger city, Jaipur. And this is like in the desert of India, desert region, right? And those are really, really beautiful cities. I really recommend them. And yeah, I mean, there were some really beautiful women in those cities too, but
Did
It
you
was
try
just like
online dating when you were over there?
zero, nothing, man. It's as Los Angeles, USA in India. There was nothing. I don't think I had one match from any online dating app in India. It just was, you know, didn't, wasn't doing anything. But
Yeah, they're hard.
yeah,
They're tough cookies, man.
I did go like I went to some nightclubs in um, I went to some nightclubs in like some of like Jaipur. And again, yeah, they were really beautiful women, but they were just like, I would see like a beautiful woman, and then I would see like six Indian guys. Kind of reminded me of like an old SNL skit. Those guys who go to the club and that old skit like Night Roxbury. Those guys like they come up to them and they start like they start awkwardly like trying to hump them.
Yeah.
So I'll see like one really pretty girl go into a club like Jake, and I'll see six guys like crowd around her trying to hump her, and I'm just like, obviously it's not gonna work out.
You want to know something funny? One of the the demographic that buys most of my products is like not most of them, but a lot of them is usually like Indian and Asian. It's like something about their culture that just like they're they need a lot of help with women, man. They don't know how to act. It's crazy.
I think they do. I would, yeah, man. I could straight up open a business to help Indian guys learn how to, how to have a better game, because it's almost, I think there's like some kind of cultural thing that says, hey, it's okay to, be obnoxiously aggressive. It's like, look, we have all these feminists wherever in the West, always complaining about, patriarchy and men are so like that. I think it's all bullshit. But then if you go to India, you're kind of like, well, they might have a point, because you have all these men who are just like really aggressive and dominating. But the thing is that they can't get what they want, and so really the women have the power. I felt like in India, because there's just like lots of aggressive kind of horny guys, and just lots of women who are just like not having it. And so you had all these like lots of like really like frustrated guys there. And I noticed like Indian men, they all kind of hang out with each other because it's like the girls kicked them out of the house or something. And they're all just hanging out with each other, and like you don't really see like an Indian guy and a girl unless it's like literally like his wife. So it's a cultural thing, and I see just like very blatant stuff in India with Indian guys. You just shouldn't, it doesn't matter what culture you're in, you just shouldn't do it. Like, you don't forcefully come on to someone like in a nightclub. You don't like you don't like just meet and with like no connection whatsoever. Like just like try to get into her pants. Like hi, I'm just another swinging dick, and look at me, and look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And so it's just I saw that so much when I was in India, and I might just be crazy. I might be offending all your Indian customers here, but it's stuff that I noticed, and
It's the truth, man. There's nothing wrong with the truth.
they need some kind of like dating advice culture in India.
Well, hopefully YouTube doesn't take this video down because we're fucking bagging too much, but it's the truth, man.
Yeah, that's we'll take it down because we mentioned COVID at the beginning, but now they'll definitely take it down at this point.
Well, yeah, man. Definitely enjoy talking to you. If you want to be on again, you're definitely welcome.
Yeah, I'm around.
But yeah, I don't want to do more than 30 minutes because then it takes forever for me to like convert this, and it takes up like 10 or more gigabytes, But
I wonder what the codecs you're using. I do like hour-long Zoom interviews.
well, I always convert it to something that takes it down to like 100 megabytes, but I use Adobe Premiere and it encodes it into AVI, so it becomes really huge.
Strange, yeah. It doesn't take me that much time at all. I don't know. I'd have to look at your setup. But
It's
anyway,
like
yeah, okay, cool.
it's like a bootleg Adobe Premiere. So who knows?
So I'm trying to think about if you should use Cyrus Kirkpatrick or Cyrus Thompson. So Cyrus Thompson is kind of the name I use for books that are about like dating and stuff like that. So probably just maybe Cyrus Thompson.
Thompson?
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah.
This is Cyrus Thompson. I'll have a link to all your info in the description. Great guy, a lot of knowledge, a lot of life experience, and everybody who's watching this should definitely check him out. But anyway, thanks for coming on, man. I'll definitely have you on again if you're interested, and yeah, enjoy your stay in Philippines.
Cool, thank you. And for the link, I mean, you can still use Cyrus Kirkpatrick. I mean, people will figure it out. I have books of Cyrus Thompson, books of Cyrus Kirkpatrick, like whatever.
All right, for sure. All right, man. Well, enjoy your day. Thanks for coming on.
All right, see ya.
glorybe9night.com